At 11:47 p.m. last Thursday, my doorbell camera caught my wife slipping into our dark house with my best friend right behind her, and 40 minutes later they walked out like it was a normal errand. I didn't yell. I didn't smash anything. I saved the clip, opened my old job notebook, and decided the next move would make their whole little Staten Island circle watch them choke on it. I'm 41, a union electrician. Staten Island born and raised, the kind of place where your mother still expects you for Sunday sauce and you can't hit ShopRite without running into 3 people you know. Big friend group. Barbecues, christenings, birthdays, folding chairs on the driveway, everybody's kids everywhere, everybody's business half known before you even speak. In that world, loyalty isn't a slogan. It's currency. Danielle and I have been together a long time. Not perfect, but solid. I'm up early, boots on, job site headaches, foreman, schedules, and whatever new genius idea a guy with a clipboard thinks will save time. She works a normal office day. We do dinner, talk about the day, complain about Staten Island traffic like it's a sport. Real routines, so normal you stop noticing them until something shifts. The first thing that shifted was the trash. Sounds stupid, but if you live with someone for years, you know their patterns. Trash went out in the morning. Always. Danielle tied the bags, left them by the side door, I grabbed them on my way out, done. Then, about a month ago, trash started going out late at night. Not once. A pattern. Always after some version of, I'm stopping by for 10 minutes, or, I gotta swing home quick, or, I'm working late, don't wait up. At first I didn't connect it. I just logged it in my head the way you notice a light flickering, annoying, but you don't think the house is about to burn down. Then one Tuesday I got home around 9:15, later than usual because the job ran long and the Verrazano was doing its usual thing, one lane open, everyone driving like it's their first day with a license. Danielle wasn't home. She texted, running behind. Work is a mess. Might be late. Fine. I heated leftovers, sat on the couch, half-watched a game, started to drift. Around 10:40 I heard the side door open and close, the driveway door, not the front. I looked out and saw her dragging a trash bag like it weighed nothing. Tossed it in the bin. Wiped her hands on her jeans like she'd just handled something important. Then she went straight upstairs. No, hey. No, I'm home. When she finally came down, she had that tired but fine face, the smile that's more like a sticker. You just get in? I asked. Yeah, she said too fast. Stopped by for 10 minutes. Just grabbed something I needed. For work. Yeah. What did you need so bad you had to stop by at 10:40? She shrugged. Paperwork. And all I could think was, since when does paperwork make you take out trash at night? I didn't press. Pressing turns a thought into an accusation. If I'm wrong, I'm the jerk. If I'm right, I'm not ready to hear it yet. So I filed it away the way I file everything, on paper. I keep old school notebooks around, job notes, measurements, favors owed, who I lent a ladder to, who still owes me $50 from a Yankees ticket 10 years ago. Pen on paper keeps me honest. That night I wrote one line in a notebook in the kitchen junk drawer, trash late again. 10:40, stopped by 10 minutes. I didn't know I was starting evidence. I thought I was keeping my own head straight. Then it happened again. And again. Thursday was the night it clicked into place. I was at work freezing on a site near the ferry, trying to sort a feeder run while grown men argued about conduit like it's religion. My phone buzzed at 6:18. Danielle, gonna be working late. Don't wait up. I texted back, okay. Not because I didn't care, because I wasn't giving her anything to bounce off. I'm not a guy who blows up phones. If you're my wife, you tell me where you are. That's the deal. I got home around 8:50. Quiet house. Her car wasn't there. Fine. Shower, food, TV, tried to shut my brain down. By 10:30 I was drifting again. Then at 11:47 p.m. my phone pinged, ring notification. Motion at front door. I opened it instantly. Live view loaded, porch, streetlight glow, the usual. Danielle's car pulled up. She got out fast, keys already in her hand, head down like she was late. And a second later a man stepped into frame right behind her, close enough that if she stopped, he'd bump into her. Not a neighbor passing by. Not someone walking a dog. Someone coming in with her. No wave. No, thanks for dropping me off. No normal body language. She unlocked the door and he slipped in right after her. And what hit me hardest wasn't just that there was a man, it was that they didn't turn on a single light. Not the foyer. Not the lamp she always hits without thinking. Nothing. Just darkness swallowing them like they'd practiced it. I sat up so fast I got dizzy. I stared at the screen like blinking would change it. I waited. The camera can't see inside, but it sees the porch, empty, silent. At 12:26 a.m. motion again. The door opened. Danielle stepped out first, hair a little messier than before. He came out right behind her. They stood close, too close for, he stopped by for 10 minutes. He leaned in and said something. She laughed, soft, private, like it was theirs. He walked down the steps. She didn't rush back inside. She watched him go. Then his car backed into view, a black SUV. I knew that SUV because I helped him install a damn light bar on it in my driveway last summer while we drank beer and talked about how good we got it. There's a dent on the rear passenger side bumper, small, but obvious if you know it's there. He got it outside Danino's and swore it wasn't his fault. I zoomed in until the pixels broke apart. Rewound it. Played it again. Frame by frame like I was trying to convince myself I was seeing a stranger. The silhouette. The gait. The way he carries his shoulders like he owns the sidewalk. It was him. My best friend. The guy I've known since I was a kid. The guy who stood next to me at my wedding and told me, hand on my shoulder, I got you, always. I didn't even feel rage first. I felt blank, like someone unplugged my brain and left a cold buzzing in my ears. Then I did what I do when something stops making sense, I got organized. I saved the clip. I screen recorded the event history so the date and time stayed on top. I took screenshots of the frames where the SUV shows, where the dent shows, where the glare half catches the plate. I made a burner email on the spot and sent the files to myself. Then I backed everything up on my laptop in a folder labeled something boring, Electrical Receipts 2026, because nobody clicks the boring folder. Then I opened my notebook and wrote, THU, 11:47 p.m., D arrives. Mail enters behind her. No lights. 12:26 a.m., exit together. Black SUV. Dent matches. I stared at my own handwriting like it belonged to someone else. Because betrayal isn't just pain. It's humiliation. It's your life turning into a joke you didn't know you were in. And on Staten Island, where everyone knows everyone and loyalty gets treated like religion, this wasn't just my marriage cracking. This was a bomb under the whole friend group. I didn't sleep. I sat at the kitchen table with my phone glow in my face, watching that clip until I could recite every second like a song. I kept waiting for my brain to give me an explanation that didn't end with my wife and my best friend moving through my house at midnight in the dark. It didn't. Around 4:30 the sky turned that ugly gray-blue. I heard birds. Somewhere, a garbage truck. Danielle came downstairs like nothing happened. Hair up. Hoodie on. Opened the fridge. Morning, she said, like we were normal people living a normal life. I looked at her and my mouth wanted to say her name like a warning, but my voice stayed calm. I wasn't confronting yet. Not without more. Not when the first thing I'd learned was how good they were at moving in the dark. And while she poured coffee with her back to me, no ring adjustment, no nervous fidget, no guilt twitch, just steady like she deserved to be steady, something in me finally heated up. Not rage. Not yet. Something colder. Respect is everything. And in one night, I learned exactly what kind of people they were. Now I just had to prove it in a way they couldn't talk their way out of. I went to work the next day like a robot. People think you find out something like that and you start throwing plates. Me? I had a conduit run to finish and a foreman who thinks yelling makes him smart. So I did what I always do when my life feels like it's on fire, I put my head down and worked. But all day my brain kept replaying the same four things. 11:46 p.m. No lights. 12:26 a.m. Black SUV. That dent. And I kept seeing Danielle that morning, calm, pouring coffee like she didn't just let another man into our house in the dark. At lunch I sat in my truck with my sandwich and my notebook on my knee and I wrote what I needed from the confrontation. Not feelings. Practical. Watch her lie. See if she admits anything without me giving details. Don't tip my whole hand. Because the minute I watched that video, I learned one thing, they're comfortable. People don't start comfortable. I got home around 5:40. Her car was in the driveway. Lights on. She was acting normal, and that almost made me laugh. She was at the stove stirring sauce like we were in a commercial, garlic, bubbling pot, whole house smelling like home on purpose. Hey, she said bright. You're early. Job ended early, I said, taking my boots off slow like I had all the time in the world. She kissed my cheek. I let it happen, and it felt familiar and wrong at the same time. How was your day? She asked. Same, I said. How was work? She rolled her eyes. A nightmare. Everyone's behind. I stayed late again yesterday. I nodded like she was talking about the weather, then I aimed small on purpose. I glanced at the front door and said, You end up coming home last night? She didn't flinch. Yeah. I told you, I stopped by for 10 minutes. 10 minutes, I repeated. Yeah, she said, still stirring. Paperwork. I forgot it. What time? Her spoon paused for a heartbeat, just long enough for her to grab the story off the shelf and check the label. Late, she said. I don't know. Around 11. 11, I echoed, calm. She turned with the spoon like she was annoyed. Why are you asking me like I'm on trial? I shrugged. Because it's weird, Danny. You've been stopping by a lot. And you've been taking the trash out at midnight. Her face tightened. The trash? Yeah. Always after you stop by. Like you're cleaning something up. She scoffed. Oh my God. No. Are you serious right now? I looked at her, same face, same eyes, no makeup, hair up, and it felt like I was staring at a stranger wearing her skin. I'm asking, I said. That's it. She slapped the spoon down too hard. Sauce splashed. This is what we're doing, she snapped. You're accusing me because I took the trash out. I'm not accusing you, I said, and I meant it. Not yet. I'm telling you it's been different. She crossed her arms. Well, maybe I'm trying to help more. Maybe I'm sick of you acting like you do everything around here. There it was, the turn. Make me defend myself so she doesn't have to defend the truth. I nodded slow. Okay. Her eyes narrowed. Okay, what? Okay, I said. If you're helping more, cool. I appreciate it. She blinked like she expected a fight. When you don't take the bait, people get off balance. She softened her voice. Babe, you're being weird. Weird, I repeated. Yeah. Like, paranoid. That word landed like a slap. I pushed off the counter and walked to the living room. Come here. She followed, cautious now. What? I picked up my phone. My hand was steady, and I hated how steady it was, because it made this feel like business. I turned the screen toward her, not the whole clip yet. Just the event list. Dates. Times. I checked the ring history, I said. Her face drained fast, no shock, just fear. A clean flash of fear she couldn't control. Why would you? She started. Because I'm not dumb, I said, still quiet. Because I notice patterns. Because I know when my own house stops feeling like mine. Her mouth opened, closed. You're invading my privacy. I almost laughed. Privacy? In my house? She stepped closer like she could block the truth with her body. What did you see? I'm gonna ask you something, I said. And you're gonna answer straight. Her eyes flicked toward the hallway like she wanted an exit route. Who was here with you last night? Nobody, she said. I let the silence stretch. It's amazing how loud a quiet room gets when someone's lying. Danielle, I said. Don't do that. She threw her hands up. I'm not doing anything. I came home, grabbed my stuff, left. Then why does the camera show a guy walking in right behind you? Her whole body went rigid. What? She said, too high. What guy? I didn't answer. I tapped the clip and let it play. 11:46, keys, fast movement. Then him, shadow, shoulders, that walk. Danielle's hand flew to her mouth like she was watching a horror movie. She shook her head hard, like if she shook enough it wouldn't be real. That's, she started. That's not, the clip kept going, the door, the darkness, then later the exit, too close, her little laugh. When it ended, she looked at me like I was holding a weapon. Say it, I said, voice calm but sharpened. Who is it? I don't know, she said. I just stared. I don't, she insisted. It's probably a shadow. The camera, a shadow doesn't have a car, I cut in. A shadow doesn't walk out at 12:26. Her breathing sped up. Her eyes went wet, but it wasn't sadness, it was panic. She was searching for the lie that would stick. It was, someone from work, she blurted. A coworker. He drove me home because my phone died and my car was acting weird and I didn't want to bother you. I laughed once, ugly. Your phone died, I repeated, but you texted me working late at 6:18. She froze. And your car was acting weird, I continued, but you drove it home. She shook her head, crying now. You're twisting everything. You always do this. You make me feel like I'm crazy. My jaw clenched. My hands finally started to tremble, not fear. Rage held too long. Don't you dare, I said. Don't you dare make this about me. She wiped her cheeks, frantic. You don't trust me. No, I said flat. Not right now. Not with this. She stepped toward me, reaching out like she could touch the moment back into place. Babe, please. It was nothing. He literally stopped by for 10 minutes. There it was, that line again, like a spell. 10 minutes, I said, my voice rising for the first time. The camera says 40. Her eyes darted away. That's when I knew. Innocent people argue facts. Guilty people run from them. Who, I said again, slower, was in my house with you? She started sobbing, full body, shaking, ugly crying, and years ago that might have hit me. Now it just felt like smoke. I didn't mean, she gasped. It's not what you think. I took a step back. That's the line. Please, she said, breaking. Please don't do this. You're gonna ruin everything. I stared at her. Not, I'm sorry. Not, I messed up. Just, don't ruin everything. Meaning, don't ruin it for me. I swallowed and felt something crack in my chest like a board splitting. Answer, I said. Last chance. Who is he? She shook her head over and over. I can't. That's where my control slipped. Like my body finally caught up to what my brain knew since midnight. I slammed my palm on the coffee table so hard it rattled. You can't. I barked. You can bring him into my house in the dark, but you can't say his name. She flinched like I hit her, and I hated that, because I've never been that guy. I'm not a screamer. I'm not a hitter. I keep my hands to myself. But I was so close to losing it I could taste metal. She backed up, voice small. I was lonely. That was the first real thing she'd said. Lonely? I repeated. With a husband who works his ass off. Pays the bills. Shows up to every family thing. Shovels your mom's snow like it's his job. She cried harder. You're not here. You're always tired. You don't talk, don't you make a list of my flaws like it's a permission slip, I cut in. She looked down and I finally saw it, real guilt, not performance. Then she whispered it, barely audible. It was Mike. My best friend's name hit the room like a brick. My stomach dropped so hard I thought I might throw up. I nodded once, like I was accepting a punch. Mike, I said. In my house. She reached for my arm. Please, it wasn't, I pulled back like her touch burned. I stared at the wall behind her because if I looked her in the eye, I might do something I'd regret. Get away from me, I said. She froze. What? Get away from me, I repeated, low and deadly calm. Upstairs. Guest room. I don't care. Just get away from me right now. She hesitated like she expected me to soften. I didn't. She walked past me sobbing and disappeared up the stairs. I stood there with my phone in my hand, that clip sitting on the screen like proof of a murder, and I realized the confrontation didn't give me relief. It gave me a target. Because now it wasn't just Danielle. It was Mike. And in our world, where loyalty is currency, I already knew what happens to a guy who steals from his own. I didn't call Mike. I didn't text him. I didn't do the chest puffing, come outside thing like we're 17 behind the deli. Because the second you let anger drive, you crash, and I wasn't crashing anything that belonged to me. Danielle stayed upstairs. I heard drawers, the bathroom fan, little footsteps, like movement could rewind time. I sat at the kitchen table with my notebook, my phone, and a coffee I didn't drink. I watched the ring clip again and forced myself to write it like a work order, 11:46 p.m. entry/12:26 a.m. exit. Lights, none. Vehicle, black SUV, rear dent passenger side. Behavior, close, no porch talk, laughter on exit. Then I started digging through the ring history, because once you catch one lie, the whole timeline becomes dirty. And the Ring app doesn't care how you feel. It just remembers. I found more. Not every day, not even every week, but enough to turn my stomach cold. A 10-minute stop, that was 32. A work emergency, that lined up with a 9:58 p.m. entry and a 10:41 p.m. exit. Same silhouette. Same walk. Same SUV. And every time, lights off. Like they knew exactly what they were doing in my house, and exactly what it would cost them socially if anyone saw it. Around 2 a.m. I opened my bank app and scrolled transactions, not hunting for drama, hunting for patterns. And of course there were patterns. DoorDash on nights she said she ate at work. A bar charge I didn't recognize, someplace off Forest that Mike likes. A gas station charge near his area on a night she claimed she was working late on the other side of the island. None of it was a smoking gun alone. Next to the Ring timeline, it started to look like a map. I screenshotted everything. Saved PDFs, made a folder on my laptop and backed it up again. Then I wrote one sentence in the notebook: don't react. Build. Proof beats yelling. At 6:30 I got up like normal, shower, boots, coffee. Danielle didn't come down. Good. On the drive to the job site I passed the places we all hang out, bars, pizzerias, houses where we've stood around with beers pretending we're all stand-up guys. I kept seeing Mike's face, the jokes, the too hard hugs, like he's always performing, loyal. And one thought kept looping: if he did this to me, he'll do it to anyone. At lunch I sat in my truck and stared at my contacts until I landed on Erin, Mike's wife. I've known Erin long enough. She's been at the barbecues, the birthdays, my mom's table eating baked ziti like she belongs, because she did. She deserved to know. And I'll be honest, I wasn't calling out of hero morals. I was calling because I needed an ally, and because Mike wasn't walking away clean. I texted first because a call hits too hard out of nowhere. Hey. You free to talk later? Need to ask you something. It's important. 10 minutes later, is everything okay? My hands stayed steady. My chest felt like wet cement. No. Can we meet somewhere private? Today. She picked a quiet waterfront parking lot, the kind where people sit in their cars and pretend they're not falling apart. Staten Island has plenty. After work I got there early and killed the engine, staring at the water like it could explain anything. Erin pulled in 5 minutes late, rolling slow, cautious. She walked up with her face already tight. What's going on? I got out so she wouldn't be standing there like a cop was about to deliver news. We leaned against our cars like two people waiting for a doctor. I'm gonna say something, I told her, and you're gonna think I'm out of my mind. Her eyes narrowed. Okay, I exhaled through my nose. Danielle's cheating. Erin blinked. With who? I hated saying it. Saying it out loud makes it real in a different way. With Mike. Her face went blank. Not anger. Not tears. Blank, like her brain hit a wall. No, she whispered, shaking her head fast. No. Mike wouldn't. Danielle, no. I have video, I said. That made her look at me for real. Video of what? Her voice turned sharp. Ring camera. My front door. Them coming and going. In the dark. Erin's breathing went quick. When? I showed her the event list first, dates and times, watched her eyes flick for an escape hatch that wasn't there. Then I played the clip. Her hand flew to her mouth, same motion as Danielle's, but Erin's eyes weren't guilty. They were shattered. Oh my God, she said, voice cracking. Oh my God, that's him, I said. She watched it twice. 3 times. The 3rd time she didn't cover her mouth. She just stared while tears ran down her cheeks like her body didn't know how to stop. Then she turned away and bent over, hands on her knees, like she was going to throw up. I'm sorry, I said, and for the first time since midnight I meant it like a human. I didn't want to be right. Erin wiped her face hard and looked at me like she wanted to burn the whole island down. How long? I don't know, I admitted. But it's not new. She made a sound that was half laugh, half sob. He's been telling me he's helping you out lately. My jaw clenched. Yeah. He's been helping. She paced a tight circle, furious and shaking. We have kids, she said. We have a mortgage. We have, what the hell is wrong with him? I didn't answer because I had my own version of that question and nothing good on the other side. She stopped pacing and looked me dead in the eye. What are you gonna do? I didn't hesitate. I'm not staying. I'm not working through this. I'm not doing couples therapy with someone who sneaks my best friend into my house with the lights off. Erin nodded fast, hurt but locked in. Okay, she said. Okay. Then we do this right. That's when it stopped being a thought and became a mission. We sat on the edge of her trunk and talked like two people planning a job, no romance, no drama, just brutal reality. You have his location? I asked. Erin swallowed. Yeah. We share. Find my. Screenshot everything, I told her. If he's at my house, at her job, anywhere that doesn't match his story, screen it. Time stamps. She nodded, already pulling her phone out with trembling hands. I'm checking accounts, she said. Cards. Easy pass. Anything. Good, I said. I've got ring clips going back weeks. Erin's face hardened. I want more than weeks. That's when I realized she wasn't just hurt, she was switched on. Same as me. Betrayal doesn't just break your heart. It flips you into protection mode. We agreed on 2 rules, no confrontation yet, everything documented. Before we left, Erin looked at me and said, if we do this, people are gonna pick sides. I snorted. Let em. Anybody who picks their side isn't my people. That night I slept on the couch. Danielle came down once, hovering in the hallway like a ghost. Can we talk? She whispered. I didn't look at her. No. Please, she said, shaking. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to. I turned my head then, and she flinched at my expression. I wasn't yelling. I was calm in a way that scared her. You meant it enough to do it in my house, I said. Tears spilled. It was a mistake. I sat up slow. No. A mistake is forgetting to lock the door. This is a choice. Over and over. She tried to roll out the same script, lonely, stressed, you're always working, you don't, like excuses could erase timestamps. I held up my hand. Save it. You got nothing I need. For a second I felt the ache of the life I thought we had. Then I remembered the lights off. The laughter on the porch. The way she watched him leave. And whatever soft part of me tried to rise up got shoved back down. The next morning I met a divorce attorney in a small office off Highland, old guy, sharp eyes, the kind who's seen every lie people tell themselves. I gave him facts only, ring footage, patterns, timeline, my notebook with dates like a work order. He nodded once and said, you did the right thing not confronting him. Keep doing exactly what you're doing. Document. Don't move money. Don't leave the house unless I tell you. We're gonna protect you. That word, protect, hit me in the chest. Because that's what this was now. Not romance. Not forgiveness. Protection. I walked out with a folder under my arm and a weird calm settling into my bones. Danielle and Mike thought darkness covered them. But Staten Island doesn't stay dark forever. Erin and I were building a file so thick they couldn't talk their way out of it, not in court, not with family, not with the friend group, not anywhere. They were gonna lose more than each other. They were gonna lose the story they told about themselves. Everybody thinks the worst part is the clip. It's not. The clip is clean, pixels telling the truth. The worst part is what comes after, when life keeps going like normal and you're the only one walking around with a grenade in your chest. The morning after I met the lawyer, I went to the job like always, same truck, same coffee, same radio, same guys busting chops like the world is simple. Yo, Frankie, you coming to Lou's barbecue Saturday? An apprentice yells. I almost said yes on autopilot, then I remembered Lou's barbecue is Mike's circle, same backyard, same folding chairs, same laughs, same brother talk. My throat tightened. Nah, I said. Got stuff. He shrugged like it didn't matter. And that's the thing, nobody knows. Nobody can tell you're barely holding yourself together because you're still standing up straight. I'm good at standing up straight. That's basically my brand. But inside I was wrecked in a different way. Not the dramatic crying stuff. More like my brain wouldn't stop scanning every memory for a lie. Was she already doing it at that barbecue last summer? Was Mike already doing it when he was on my couch watching the game? Were they looking at each other while I was flipping burgers, thinking I was some kind of idiot? That's what ruins you, the humiliation. I'd be bending EMT and I'd get a flash of Danielle's laugh on the porch, her standing there watching him leave. My hands would clamp so hard my knuckles went white and I'd pretend I was checking a measurement just to hide it. Richie pulled me aside that day. He's older, quiet, the kind of union guy who's seen divorces, deaths, addictions, all of it. You all right? He asked. I'm fine, I said. He didn't buy it. You look like you want to put your head through a wall. I snorted. Just tired. He nodded slow and didn't push. If you need anything, you know. That almost broke me. Not because he offered, because he didn't even know what he was offering it for, and it was still more loyalty than my own wife and best friend had. At night it got worse. During the day you can hide and work, be a man with a task. At night, when the house goes quiet, it creeps in. Danielle tried soft first, coming down with that small voice, wearing my sweatshirt like it meant something. Can we please just talk like adults, she'd say. I'd stare at the TV without seeing it. We already talked. I said I'm sorry, she'd whisper. And I'd feel this sharp thing in my chest, because sorry sounds important until it's sitting in your living room after midnight lies. Sorry doesn't undo it, I'd say. Sorry doesn't get the smell of him out of my house. She'd flinch every time I said him, like I was spitting. Then she'd switch to anger. You're acting like I murdered someone, she snapped one night. It was, don't finish that sentence, I cut in. My voice came out low and dangerous and even I could hear I was close. Don't you dare minimize it. Her eyes flashed. You weren't there for me. That line again, like it came from a handbook. I stood up too fast and banged my knee on the coffee table. The pain grounded me for half a second. You know what's wild? I said, breathing hard. If you were unhappy, you could have said it. You could have left. You could have done 100 things. She opened her mouth. But you didn't, I kept going. You picked the one thing that tells me you don't have a soul. You picked my best friend. In my house. Her eyes filled. I didn't plan it. Yeah, I said bitter. You just fell on him repeatedly with the lights off. She slapped her hand over her mouth like I was the cruel one, then ran upstairs crying. I sat back down and felt nothing. That scared me more than the anger. Anger means you still care. Nothing means you're already halfway gone. Sunday came, sauce at my mom's, like always. I almost didn't go. I didn't want to sit there acting normal while my life rotted underneath. But my mom is old school Staten Island Italian, if you miss Sunday sauce, she thinks you're dying or in jail. So I went. My mom took one look at me and knew. Moms always know. She didn't ask in front of everyone. She just fed me like food solves anything. Eat, she said, sliding a plate toward me. You look skinny. I'm fine, I lied. My sister talked about her kids. My uncle complained about politics. Normal noise. Comfort noise. I stared at the sauce on my fork and felt my throat tighten. My mom caught my eye and tilted her head toward the kitchen. Come here. I followed her in, and the second the door shut she said, what's wrong? I tried to shrug it off. Nothing. She stared at me like she'd smack me with a wooden spoon if I kept lying. I exhaled. Danielle did something. Her face hardened instantly. What kind of something? Saying it to my mother felt like dragging mud across her floor. She cheated, I said, barely audible. My mom didn't gasp. She went still. With who? I looked at the counter. Mike. My mom crossed herself like she heard a death announcement. Then, quiet and deadly, that animal. I almost laughed, not because it was funny, because it was blunt and true. You gonna kill him? She asked. I shook my head fast. No. Good, she said. Because jail won't fix betrayal. That hit hard. My mom doesn't do therapy talk. She does truth. Then she touched my cheek like I was a kid with a scraped knee. You listen to me, she said. You keep your dignity. You don't beg. You don't chase. You let them hang themselves. I swallowed. That's the plan. She nodded once and turned back to the stove like the saw still had to move because the world doesn't stop. I went back to the table and smiled like I wasn't bleeding inside, because that's what men in my world do, we don't collapse in public. We finish dinner. We clean up. We go home. But on the drive back I cracked a little. Not sobbing. Just that pressure behind the eyes that won't quit, like my body wanted to cry and my pride wouldn't let it. I gripped the wheel until my hands ached. That night Aaron called. I answered in my truck in the driveway so Danielle wouldn't hear. Aaron's voice was tight. I got screenshots, she said. Yeah. I asked, professional, like this was a job. He told me he was at the gym, she said, shaking. His location was at your block. My stomach twisted even though I already knew. Send them, I said. I feel like I'm losing my mind, she admitted. Like maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's a glitch. You're not wrong, I said, firm. Don't let them make you doubt your eyes. A pause. Then she whispered, I hate him. I didn't say I hate Mike. I didn't say I hate Danielle. What I said was, I hate who they decided to be. Because that's the real pain. You don't just lose a spouse, you lose the version of them you trusted. You lose the person you defended. You lose the story you told yourself about your life. Some nights after Danielle went upstairs, I'd sit with my notebook and flip through old pages, job sites, favor lists, names, dates, little records of a life built on trust. And I'd think about how Mike and I used to keep score, who helped who move, who showed up when someone's car broke down, who stood by who when life got ugly. In our circle you don't touch your friend's wife. That's not a mistake. That's a declaration. It's you saying, I don't respect you. And respect, to me, is everything. The anger came in waves, not punching walls, just being in line at Dunkin' and suddenly wanting to scream because you remember his face smiling at you at your own barbecue. Then the sadness came, quiet, heavy, like waking up and realizing your house doesn't feel safe anymore, like realizing the bed you slept in for years became a place where lies lived. And then, after enough no-sleep nights, enough silent dinners, enough saved screenshots and lawyer calls, something shifted, acceptance. Not forgiveness. Don't confuse it. Acceptance is when you stop asking why and start asking what now. I stopped trying to understand it because there's no explanation that makes it okay. I stopped replaying every memory for clues because you can go insane doing that. Instead I focused on the next steps, the stuff that protects me. I started sleeping a little better, not because it hurt less, but because I had a plan. I wasn't over it. I was clearer. Like betrayal stripped the bullshit away. Danielle and Mike kept acting like they could control the narrative, like tears and explanations could make it softer. But the truth was the truth, with timestamps. And I was done being the guy who took punches just to keep things comfortable. The only thing I hadn't decided yet, the only thing still burning, was how I was going to end it. Quietly. Publicly. With the whole circle watching. That part was coming. And when it did, I wanted it clean. I wanted it final. Because once you see someone clearly, you don't owe them the version of you that still believes in them. Once Erin and I started comparing notes, it stopped feeling like a bad dream and started feeling like a case file. 2 days after that call, when she told me Mike's location was on my block, she texted, "I have the messages." Not, "I think." Not, "maybe." Messages. Mike used an iPad at home for the kids' Disney junk. Same Apple ID. Same synced texts. He wasn't even careful, because cheaters don't just betray you, they assume you're too dumb or too soft to ever look. Erin met me by the water again. She looked wrecked, puffy eyes, jaw clenched like she was biting down on a scream. She handed me her phone and scrolled. Danielle's name, plain as day. D, "Can you come by after he knocks?" M, "Yeah." Lights off. D, 10 minutes. M, "Sure." Winking face. My face went hot, shame hot. Like my whole marriage got reduced to a stupid little wink. Erin's voice went flat. "There's more." There was more. Pictures I didn't stare at long enough to describe. Plans. Times. Little jokes about me being on early shift, my house being quiet, her calling him babe like she didn't roll her eyes when she said anything like that to me for years. I handed the phone back like it was dirty. Erin whispered, "I want to burn his life down." I nodded once. Then we do it clean. No screaming. No public meltdown. No sloppy revenge. We did it like adults with lawyers and evidence. My attorney loved Erin's screenshots. He printed everything, labeled it, time-stamped it, and told me to keep my mouth shut and my hands clean. Don't touch her phone. Don't touch his. Don't do anything illegal, he said. Let them bury themselves and we'll just bring a shovel. We filed first. That matters, who files, what gets requested, how it's worded. It wasn't romantic. It was chess. Danielle got served at her office on a Tuesday at 10:12 a.m. I know because she called at 10:15, screaming so hard the speaker buzzed. "You served me?" she shrieked. "At work? Are you trying to humiliate me?" I sat in my truck outside the site with lunch in my lap and I felt calm, like the decision happened already and my body finally caught up. "You humiliated yourself," I said. "You're ruining my life," she cried. "No," I said. "I'm ending it." She switched tactics fast, screaming to soft voice. "Please," she said. "Please don't do this. We can fix it." I laughed once. Short. Mean. "You snuck my best friend into my house with the lights off," I said. "That's not fixable. That's a character reveal." Then she tried the old blame list, work, distance, me being cold. I let her talk for a minute just to hear how empty it was. Then I cut it off. "You want to talk logistics?" I said. "Talk to your lawyer. Otherwise, don't call me." She went quiet, stunned I wasn't playing emotional ping-pong anymore. Then she hissed, "You're going to regret this." I said, "The only regret I have is not trusting my gut sooner," and I hung up. Mike got served the same day because Erin timed it that way. She wanted him blindsided the way she was. Later she told me she watched him read it at the kitchen counter, watched his face change like someone finally turned the lights on and he realized the rats were in the room. That night Mike tried to call me. I didn't answer. He texted, "Bro, please. We need to talk." I texted back, "No we don't." He kept going. It wasn't like that. It just happened. I was drunk. You don't get it. I stared at those messages until my anger sharpened into something clean. I replied, "Stay away from me. Stay away from my house. Talk to your lawyer." Then I blocked him. Here's what people don't tell you: the second you make a real decision, you stop feeling like you're drowning. I wasn't okay, but I wasn't drifting anymore. Next was the social circle. On Staten Island, news travels faster than the ferry, but I wasn't letting them control the story. I wasn't going to be the guy people whispered about like, poor Frankie, he didn't even know. So I picked my moment. Not dramatic. Not public. Deliberate. Sunday sauce at my mom's 2 weeks later, sister, uncle, cousins, the whole spread like always. Danielle wasn't there. She'd moved into the guest room and was staying with a friend on weekends, and the lawyer told me, stay steady, stay clean, stay documented. My mom poured wine and said, you ready? For what? For everybody to know, she said. Because they're gonna know. I nodded. Yeah. After dinner, plates pushed aside, the room loud and normal again, my uncle brought up Mike like it was nothing. Haven't seen that kid in a minute, he said. He's still working down in Jersey. I put my glass down. He's busy. My sister looked at me sharp. My mom didn't move. My uncle chuckled. Busy with what? I didn't raise my voice. I didn't perform. I just said it. Busy sleeping with my wife. The table went dead quiet like somebody hit mute on the house. What? My uncle said. I slid my phone across, not the gross stuff, not the pictures. Just the ring clip. Time stamps. Mike's SUV backing out. The darkness. The exit. The closeness. He watched once and went pale. My cousin whispered, no way. My mom said, calm as a judge, way. Then it started, outrage, disbelief turning into rage. My sister swore under her breath. My uncle stood up like he wanted to drive to Mike's house right then. I held up my hand. No. Don't. I'm handling it. That mattered. I wasn't begging for sympathy. I was stating a fact: he's out, she's out, end of story. After that it moved like wildfire, not because I blasted it on Facebook like a psycho, but because people talk, and in our circle what Mike did wasn't a mistake. It was stealing from the family. The funny part is Mike tried to salvage his reputation by playing victim. Told people I was cold, that I worked too much, that it wasn't serious. But when Erin left him and her proof started circulating through the right hands, her brother, her parents, Mike didn't just lose friends. He lost respect, the kind you don't get back. Guys stopped inviting him. People stopped answering calls. At a barbecue I actually went to, someone asked, you hear from Mike, and another guy said, nah. Don't say that name around Frankie, like Mike was a stain. Danielle tried to spin it too, sad wife, angry wife, we grew apart, wife. Nobody bought it. Not when the truth had time stamps. The divorce was ugly but straightforward. My attorney pushed for a clean split. We sold the house, and that hurt more than I expected. Even knowing what happened in it, it was still my house, my weekends fixing stuff, my sweat, my life. But when the closing was done, I felt lighter walking out with the keys for the last time, like leaving a place where something died. Danielle moved in with a friend. Mike ended up in some sad little apartment situation from what I heard. Erin stayed close to her family with the kids. We're not friends like that now, we're two people who survived the same fire. No small talk. Just check-ins when it matters. Me. I got quieter. Still union. Still early mornings, boots, coffee, job sites. Still Sunday sauce at my mom's. Still my notebooks, dates, favors, the stuff that's real. But I don't do fake loyalty anymore. I don't chase people who don't respect me. I don't keep best friends who'll smile in my face and sneak into my house in the dark. And here's the part that surprises people, I'm not bitter all the time. I'm calmer. Because once you accept betrayal isn't a mistake, it's a character reveal, you stop arguing with reality. You stop trying to understand someone who already showed you who they are. My advice? Watch the patterns. The small shifts. The 10 minutes. The trash at midnight. The lights off. And when you get proof, don't lose your dignity trying to scream the truth into someone committed to lying. Document. Decide. Execute. Let them burn up in their own scandal. Then go live your life like peace is the real revenge.